Alright, what's going on, guys? Yes, one project back at it again in here for the video for you guys for today. And in today's video, I decided to basically, in a way, bring back some reviews since I actually, honestly, am missing them. So I wanted to basically come on here and do the reviews of the shows that I didn't actually get to be able to do. Maybe do a prediction for, as of today of this recording, is the newest pay-per-view Stopping Grounds, which is tonight. So I might do some predictions for that, and as well probably a review. So I've got some stuff here with the DVDs, the latest ones, as of recently, right here. Looking to do a little kind of brief review on things. Gonna start things off where we had, of course, the new calendar year, and with that, of course, we have the Royal Rumble. And with this one, where you see Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar there on the cover, and then you see the back and what else went down throughout the night. And just gonna go over briefly, basically bits and pieces and stuff like that, like where we had the pairing with the Miz and Shane McMahon and actually winning the tag team champions, and that was something interesting, something different. And lately we had Shane McMahon actually wrestling a lot more, and you see basically what he was able to do, win the tag team titles, the SmackDown tag team titles at the time with the Miz, and now of course they're no longer tag team champions. They were able to feud and stuff like that, and Shane McMahon as of this point is looking to, what I'm hearing, looking to be WWE champion, which really wouldn't surprise me. I'll probably get that more in depth into that later on at some point in another point in time, probably with the predictions video for Stomping Grounds or another video or something like that. Also, where we had Asuka in her match, where she was able to face, from what I remember, Becky Lynch at the time, and she was able to keep the SmackDown Women's Championship, so that's fine. Ronda Rousey and Sasha Banks went at it. That was pretty cool. Ronda Rousey winning and having that and everything. Daniel Bryan had his time being WWE champion and stuff like that, and him being heel and everything. It was actually working. I wouldn't expect Daniel Bryan to actually turn heel and be where he is again as a heel, but with a more different added twist. And ironically enough, I'm wearing a t-shirt, so that goes hand in hand with that. And of course, we had Brock Lesnar taking on Finn Balor on this one. Brock Lesnar, from what I remember, ended up winning that match and everything, which was very interesting to see. So it's actually pretty nice to see, where Brock Lesnar faces off guys like that and can actually have a match, a good match at that fact, with someone like that. So that was interesting to see there. And for going for the men's side in the men's Royal Rumble, where we had Seth Rollins winning, that was dope. And for the women's side, obviously, as you can see, the man Becky Lynch getting her win. So, in a nutshell, in the way of what happened with the Royal Rumble, and I actually did enjoy it. So, not really too many complaints. From what I remember, I did enjoy the Royal Rumble from back in January this year. So, there's that. So really not too many complaints. We move along here with the Elimination Chamber, and what we had in this one, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, and Kofi Kingston on this one. So there's that, as you see there on the cover as well. And I know at one point Mustafa Ali, which now is Ali, which is really stupid with these name changes. I don't get it. I know he was supposed to be in the match, but I know we had that replacement and stuff like that, which is unfortunate, but it happens. I remember too, like what we have here, like what else we have in the back here. As you see it, Bayley and Sasha winning the women's tag team championships, and having to be there for the first time in a long time. I know they had them a long time ago, but they actually were able to bring it back, and Sasha and Bayley were able to win them at Elimination Chamber and everything, and to have that Elimination Chamber matchup for the tag team titles. It was unfortunate that their run was short and everything. So again, I'll get into that a little bit more as well. So there was that. Shane McMahon and The Miz taking on the Usos as well. There's that. Ronda Rousey and Ruby Riott, and of course Ronda Rousey winning there. Finn Balor, he was able to get the Intercontinental Championship, which is good. A long time coming for Finn Balor, and everything well deserved there too, obviously. And of course, the men's elimination chamber right there, and it's pretty crazy how where things go. And I was actually hoping that Kofi Kingston at the time, since it was Kofi Mania, that was really dope to see, and hopefully having Kofi Kingston win. But obviously, that was just the beginning. That was just planting the seeds to what was to come at WrestleMania for Kofi Kingston, and unfortunately, he didn't win. Daniel Bryan won and kept the title just a little bit longer. So, Elimination Chamber, not too bad from what I do remember. Of course, before we get into WrestleMania, there is the Fastlane until WrestleMania. You see the Shield there, basically for the final time, one of the final times that they did have before the special on the network. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was this, and then that match that they had on the network. So, one of the rare and only final times before Dean Ambrose became Jon Moxley, and of course, going to AEW and going there to Double or Nothing, and basically the rest is history there with that. So basically, the final times that we had, those three able to go up against Baron Corbin and of course Drew McIntyre and everything, from what I do see, and as well with Bobby Lashley. So they were able to go over there and of course be able to win there, so can't go wrong with that. Of course, another match with the women's tag team titles where Sasha and Bayley were able to win and keep the titles for that much more longer. Of course, we have the rest of what happened there, with Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch there, and Ronda Rousey there as well. Of course, getting more of that build up for WrestleMania and everything. An interesting situation with Kofi Kingston and the bar, which is really weird. I didn't really get that whole idea on all that, what was going on, and everything. And I'm seeing where we had, of course, Daniel Bryan and everything, with Kevin Owens and Ali, that whole thing and everything going on. And of course, Daniel Bryan and keeping the championship and stuff like that. Basically that in a nutshell, and AJ Styles and Randy Orton, which was pretty cool to be seen. So basically, Fastlane in a nutshell and everything. So this, from what I remember, it wasn't the greatest, but it was okay to pretty good at best. Then, of course, what we have, yes, WrestleMania 35. And actually, to be all honest, I enjoyed WrestleMania 35. Probably one of my pay-per-views of the year so far. That and probably Royal Rumble, it's a little toss-up as of right now, since obviously when there's WrestleMania, we kind of go through that downtime and everything for WrestleMania afterwards and everything. But for WrestleMania, for this year, I actually enjoyed it. I know it was long as hell, probably a near record, where it used to be for 2 hours and then went to 4 hours. I think this one lasted from, if you count the kickoff, lasting up until a little after midnight, which is insane how long wrestling shows are now. So I would have never expected that. So that's literally like a record. They don't really need to be that long. 4 hours for WrestleMania, I think, is enough. It's the same thing for Big Four pay-per-views. But, obviously, what we've seen, of course, the women's triple threat with Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. Definitely cool that Becky Lynch was able to become Becky Two Belts and having the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. So that's really cool. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, and Kofi Kingston actually being WWE Champion, and I thought that was really cool, in my opinion. I know there's mixed reactions on it now and everything, but I was still happy for Kofi Kingston. It was a long time coming. It was a cool moment, so I enjoyed it. that's just me. And of course, we had Roman Reigns being able to go up against, Drew McIntyre and everything. That could have been a little bit more better. I know we had the rematch going for Stomping Grounds and everything, so unfortunately, there's that. But Roman Reigns obviously winning at WrestleMania at 35. Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin, that match really wasn't really needed. I was hoping that we would see Kurt Angle against anybody else. I was thinking either John Cena and stuff like that, would have been fine enough. But I guess I see why they did it, to add, more heel heat for Baron Corbin, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And yes, unfortunately, Baron Corbin did win, which is really weird for Kurt Angle's last match, and he loses. I don't know, I feel like he would come back out of that at some point, but, booking these days don't really get to make sense, and who knows what kind of shit they'll kind of create now, but hey, it is what it is at this point. Sad and unfortunate, too. I will say that for sure. Speaking of John Cena, he was there with the Doctor of Thugonomics, so that was cool, having old school Cena come back and everything with the Doctor of Thugonomics. That was dope. I like that, Cena with Elias, so that was really cool. And of course, just by, looking up what else happened, pretty briefly, not going through all of it. Cruiserweight title match, Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese. Tony Nese won there. Samoa Joe and Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title, I felt like was a little bit too short, could have lasted a little bit longer and everything, especially with their feud lately. I wish, they could have done a lot more, but it is what it is and stuff like that. What else? With the Miz and Shane McMahon, the Falls Count Anywhere match, that was really cool, and seeing that. Also, where we had the Women's Tag Team Championships, of course, Bayley and Sasha, of course, Natalya and Beth Phoenix, the Iconics, Nia Jax, and Tamina, and as well, when the Iconics got to win on that, and that was cool. And now where they are now with the Women's Tag Team titles, aren't really defended as much, and I hope they add more. And they aren't really props, talking over on Twitter about this whole situation and stuff like that. When you have so many titles and you have the roster, a good roster, be able to use them and actually wrestle for them, create some stories. It could work and everything, but, they've just basically been, lazy on that. We had the Fatal 4-Way match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos, the Bar, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, who haven't really been seen basically since, in a way, which is really weird. Ricochet and Aleister Black on that one, good stuff. AJ Styles and Randy Orton, continuing things and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. Of course, where we had also Triple H and Batista, that was really cool on seeing that and stuff like that. The Intercontinental Championship, didn't really care for it too much. I'm happy Finn Balor was able to win. We saw the Demon against Bobby Lashley and everything. And of course, I mentioned the women's triple threat match, which was dope. So basically, WrestleMania in a nutshell. I really enjoyed it. So we are basically on the road to WrestleMania 36, and we'll see where things lead to there. Alright, so I brought back, of course, the tablet with this one, going on into where we had Money in the Bank being moved up instead of around, like, in July and stuff, so there kind of has been, like, changes with pay-per-views, and I've been hating that lately, and I liked when you actually knew what month the pay-per-view was, but now they kind of switch things around, kind of makes it confusing as all hell. But Money in the Bank in a nutshell, where we had the kickoff there for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The Usos were able to take on Daniel Bryan and Rowan, and of course, they were able to win a non-title match and everything. The women's ladder match on the main card, where we had Bayley taking on Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Nikki Cross. She was able to beat them all. So that was cool. Bayley was able to get the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. So that was cool there. Rey Mysterio and Samoa Joe again. Rey Mysterio wins, and then unfortunately had the injury, and Samoa Joe eventually got back the U.S. title. Shane McMahon and The Miz. Of course, Shane McMahon was able to win there and everything. Cruiserweight title match, Tony Nese and Ariel Daivari. Tony Nese able to win there, which is fine and interesting. Raw Women's Championship, some double duty for Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch and Lacey Evans, of course. Becky Lynch was able to win there. SmackDown Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair, and as well Becky Lynch continuing things, and as well where Charlotte Flair was able to win, but there is a but because Bayley was able to cash in and be SmackDown Women's Champion, so that's cool. And Bayley able to win just about every single women's title so far, so that's pretty cool there and dope. Can't go wrong with that. Now Roman Reigns and Elias, Roman Reigns able to win there. Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, cool to see. Seth Rollins was able to win there. Could have went either or, one of those type of matches, basically. Kofi Kingston and as well Kevin Owens, of course. Kofi Kingston was able to win and keep the WWE Championship, and as well the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Brock Lesnar taking out Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Ricochet, Baron Corbin, Ali, and Andrade Cien Almas, basically Andrade now. Now with this, it could have went to anyone else, but surprisingly, of course, Brock Lesnar was able to get the win. It was a little weird scene, trying to get used to how all that happened, and now we have Brock in the Bank, Piece to the Bank, if you want to put it that way, and have it be a meme at this point now. Still waiting for when Brock Lesnar is going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, to be announced, to be determined at this point, so we'll have to just see where things go. Then this is where things are led into Super Showdown. Don't really care for these type of shows, but we did have Super Showdown, and where we had the kickoff match, the Usos and the Revival, which is, I don't really care for this feud. The Revival definitely deserve a lot more better than what they had with this one, so the Usos were able to win and everything there. The Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins and as well Baron Corbin, and of course Seth Rollins was able to win there, and we had an attempt cash in by Brock Lesnar, but of course a failed one, but he's still the Beast in the Bank, if you want to put it that way. The Demon, of course, we had there with Finn Balor and Andrade. Probably one of my favorite matches of the night for the Intercontinental Championship. And of course, Finn Balor was able to win, so that's cool there. Shane McMahon and Roman Reigns, where Shane McMahon was able to win there. 3-on-1 handicap match, which is weird as hell. Lars Sullivan and the Lucha House Party, but it was, Lars Sullivan winning by disqualification didn't make any sense, where the Lucha House Party was just attacking Lars Sullivan that way out of desperation, I guess. I don't know. But you never know anymore. Randy Orton and Triple H continuing their feud and stuff like that. Randy Orton surprisingly actually getting the win, and I actually enjoyed this match. So I'll leave it at that. Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley going head to head, and Braun Strowman actually getting the win there. And WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston and as well Dolph Ziggler. Could have went either or, but Kofi Kingston winning is fine and fair enough there. And we had the largest Battle Royal, 50-man Battle Royal, and Mansoor actually winning, Mansoor from NXT and everything. So that was interesting. I know a little bit about Mansoor, seeing him on NXT, so kind of knew who he was and stuff. So there's that. And the main event, The Undertaker and Goldberg, was really disappointing. One of the worst Undertaker matches that I actually have seen and everything. Just how things went down. The chemistry wasn't really there, and I actually felt bad on what was going on. You could see how annoyed The Undertaker was and just didn't want to be bothered and stuff. So The Undertaker winning there was fine, but I just wish, it could have been a lot more better than what it had been shown there and stuff like that. So that was a WWE Super Showdown, and now getting into for tonight for WWE Stomping Grounds, which I'm looking to do some quick predictions on that before we get into that. So we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so we get into WWE Stomping Rounds 2019 pay-per-view picks and predictions and everything, and getting right down into it, where we have the Cruiserweight Championship match. We got a triple threat match, vintage triple threat. Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and as well Akira Tozawa on this one. Um, you know, I'm actually gonna go with Tony Nese just to see how he's gonna be able to win. If not, kind of want to see how Drew Gulak will actually be with the Cruiserweight Championship, since he's been a little bit more revamped in the way, if you will. So there's that. The New Day versus Kevin Owens and as well as Sami Zayn on this one, and getting to Kofi Kingston a little later on. But anyway, on this one, pretty sure the New Day going to somehow somebody get a win over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but it can go really either or. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, Daniel Bryan and Rowan taking on Heavy Machinery. I think Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to retain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. United States Championship, Samoa Joe and Ricochet. This should be something to look out for, and probably one of the matches of the night. I would expect that too. And I like this, that it's something different. Ricochet actually earned his chance to actually be in this match. As much as I want to see Ricochet get the win, it probably won't happen yet, but I'm sure at some point I would like to see that. But Samoa Joe, I'm pretty sure he's going to keep the title, still feud with Rey Mysterio whenever he comes back, and maybe all three of them will probably get involved for the US title, so who knows. SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley and Alexa Bliss continuing things. Hopefully this one turns out a lot more better. So far it has been build-wise, I guess we want to put it that way, but I think Becky Lynch is going to keep, getting into that match in a little bit with her match. But Bayley and Alexa Bliss, I think Bayley is actually going to keep the SmackDown Women's Championship and getting into the Raw Women's Championship, which I have it right here, where Becky Lynch, I think she's going to actually retain too against Lacey Evans in her match. So there you go. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre on this one. I kind of want to see Drew McIntyre get the win, just have him get some momentum going and everything. So that's who I have here. But it'll probably be Roman most likely. So there's that. WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston and as well Dolph Ziggler in the steel cage. With this one should be a good match between the two. Kofi Kingston, I got winning and retaining, and as well the Universal Championship match. To be an announced special guest referee at this point. Who knows what it could be? It could basically be anyone at this point on who it could be. So I'll actually keep it as a surprise. And who do you think is going to be the special guest referee? Leave that in the comments and we'll discuss that. But as far as the title match is concerned, I think Seth Rollins is actually going to win and retain the Universal Championship. And that's basically it from, up until this point, from Royal Rumble up until now for Stomping Grounds, for predictions and as well reviews and stuff like that. I might do this again for NXT and everything, getting up to speed and getting all caught up, since, I have seen it as it happened, but I just didn't get a chance to actually, do predictions, do reviews and stuff like that. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to keep up with that, but since I missed it, I was able to do this video. So if you liked it, leave a like. As always, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay notified for all my other videos. And of course, leave a comment and we'll discuss things even well after the video is well and done and over with. So I'll catch you guys in the next video, whenever the hell that next video may be. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday fun day. I'll see you then. See ya. Peace.